Ladies and gentlemen, in the kind of middle left-hand corner of the map, we have, reigning, of course, from America, is your red Zerg. His name is Silky.
And his opponents, the Finnish Zerg, in the blue. It is the one and only, we all know him, it is Mixu. Always love seeing him in the Nation Wars. It's always great fun.
Yeah. This is going to be really interesting. ZVZ, it can always be crazy, especially when you have two players here that play... You know, we'll see if they are going to play a standard style. It doesn't seem like it, though. Silky, look at this. Pool coming down. I think, yeah, this was just a very quick pool. And so we're going to see a lot of really early lings here from Silky. Going to try and deny that natural base. I'm excited. You know, this is what I wanted. This is what I said. You want a ZVZ? Because I feel like there's going to be a pretty crazy ZVZ between these two.
Yeah, he's not taking any gas with it just quite yet, so it's a bit of pressure, and behind it he will take that hatchery himself. Still making more Zerglings, but most likely those are going to turn into drones pretty soon, or at least I'm expecting this production to tip over. Otherwise, why would you not take that gas?
Wait. Okay, he sees the lings. I was going to say Mixu might not see the lings, but no, he is able to see the 6 lings coming across the map. But yeah, right now, I mean, Mixu, he's one of the 2 players trying to make the dream run from round 1 of the knockout bracket. Getting knocked out in the first group stage. Him and Nightmare are the only 2 still alive, alongside Epic. Sorry, so 1 of 3. But you know, this is a big match from this ZVZ. This is where it can get volatile. So far, he's been playing, you know, ZVTs, ZVPs. Those you have a bit more control over, but Silky can throw a wrench in those plans, as now drones are going to have to be pulled. Lings are not quite out, but you see here with the 12 pool, the Lings get over here so fast that it's hard to, you have to pull the drones before the Lings are out. Now we're going to start to see these Lings come out here for Mixu. He's going to start to fight this drones. Need to try and find a good engagement, but so far not. Finally the Lings come out. And it looks like Mixu is going to try and hold this. Should be able to, though, with the Queens almost out. He just needs to make sure he doesn't lose too many drones.
I like the drone control so far for Mixu. Of course, behind us now, that thing is kind of stabilizing Silky, not that far behind, other than his overall gas intake. I believe he still does not have an extractor, so speed is going to be quite at a deficit here. Drone counts are relatively normal, so if this speed upgrade window of opportunity doesn't do too much for Mixu, Silky can still be okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen games get lost, though, based on this speed upgrade. If you are able to have this massive window, because one player did end up going for that really early pool, yeah, you can just swell Lings, rush it across the map. We've seen it happen time and time again in this matchup. We'll see if Mixu ends up going for that kind of a strategy. He is just taking his 3rd hatchery, though, for now. But look how delayed this speed is for Silky. This has actually pretty much been a 0 gas Zerg opening for the longest time, which is still a good opening because it allows you to get a lot of Zergs, or a lot of drones as the Zerg. You get a lot of drones out, you get a really strong economy, but you delay that gas, and that doesn't mean that you're going to have a lot later speed. I mean, metabolic boost will be done for Mixu, and Silky has not even started his.
Ooh, nice Zergling scout here for Silky, managing to get into the base, seeing the drone counts at each of them, and seeing the single gas. That's something. He also saw the Baneling Nest, right? Am I correct? No, he didn't. But it's at the front of the second base. Usually that is just going to be defensive. Unless if he finds an opportunity here, you know, as he may have, seeing that Zergling speed upgrade not quite being done for his opponents.
I don't think Silky isn't even going into Zergling speed. He says, listen, I just need to get roaches here. There's no point to go into speed when it's this far delayed, so I'll just get the Roach War, and that's going to be my ticket. Honestly, if Mixu had flooded Ling Bane here, potentially could have found a lot of damage, but obviously that's a big risk to take, especially, again, in these knockout bracket where all these matches are so important, where they are so, where just one loss can mean you go home.
Yep, it's the last lifeline you're holding on to right now. And, yeah, there's only 8 spots here that will allow you to move through. It's not that many.
No, not at all.
And, you know, half of the group stage 3 is also still going to go into the lower knockout bracket, right? So
yeah,
it's such
2 more
a rough
rounds
match.
after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we talk about these miracle runs from round 1, because it is so many games. And if a player can make it through, I mean, Ryung did it in the last Katowice. If you remember, Ryung made that miracle run all the way through that knockout bracket. Because it's just so many games. It is, what, I believe a total of 6 best of 3s after your group stage. It is so much, and you don't really get that downtime because you're constantly playing game after game. But here we go. Roach is coming out from Silky, has +1/+1 also on the way with the double evolution chamber, which will give him quite a big advantage here over Mixu. When you're looking at the fact that those Roaches with those 2 upgrades, when it just comes to straight up trading, it's very, very important. As a few lanes do get in here, they're going to be able to scout out the timing on those Roaches, and also, well, they should be able to see the fact that there is no circling speed. More gas is coming down. Overall, nice scout there for Mixu, who is working with a relatively even worker count to his opponent.
Yeah, it's nice to see the layers there, right? You saw no Spire, and talking about a Spire immediately being thrown out by Mixu, maybe seeing an opportunity there as his opponent's not quite going for it. Oh, there it is. I was looking around for it. It's hidden underneath the Overlords quite nicely. Yeah, so Mixu here, if he does want to try to get something pulled off with these... with the Spire player, logically going to be Mutalisk, he's gonna have to be careful not to overcommit. Silky here coming around with the scouting overseer. May have spotted that Spire. He would have still have to click on it, but let's see. He put down a Hydra then, so I imagine he did.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Spire is a good response. You know, if it's not scouted, it of course gives you a counter to those Roaches. It maybe can sneak in the back and find some damage, but obviously with Silky scouting it, he's going to be able to get a counter ready.
Yeah.
It does just mean that
it's still worth to get a couple of them, right? Just so you can clear out the Overlords, because look at the vision of Silky right now. You can deny all of that with just a couple of Mutalisk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Mixu should still look to add those in. Yeah, there we go. 6 mutas being added in. And obviously after this, you can just kind of let go of going for the mutas. You can transition to something else, but they will also help with defense, as we do have Silky pushing in, but Mixu has a lot more Roaches, and so that one upgrade lead, when you have enough of a numbers advantage, really does not matter. Able to push back his opponent.
Overseer coming in again, just checking things out. We're not seeing the Overlords. We don't have Overlord speed, do we? No. Oh wait, we do actually. Okay, so that's why he's not moving them away. All right. Okay, that makes sense. I like that overall. You know, just going for the Overlord speed rather than trying to be proactive and just move them all away. You can, well, probably get most of them back. That one was quite far away, so that's, this one should be able to be pulled back. Not going to be able to, but oh, he's pulling them all back now. All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Good response there.
Wonderful play-by-play. Thank you. Thank you.
But no, I mean, it is going to give Mixu a very big supply lead, though. That was a massive supply block for Silky. Had to pull back all the Overlords, had to rebuild them, and so, I mean, realistically, this should be a really big Roach advantage here for the Blue Zerg, and it is. Right now, we're looking at 49-27. Of course, there are 15 Hydras, and those add a lot of DPS over the top of the Roaches. It can't be understated how big that numbers difference is. Here we go, trying to commit on in, but Silky's just going to be able to push him back with the Hydras here. Mixu doesn't want to take the fight without his whole army. Now is going to. Both players with +2 missile weapons, but there's also the +1 carapace for Silky. Means that he could be a lot more aggressive when taking these fights. His Roaches just are that much more beefy. And the concave for both players here, not the best.
A little bit of a secondary attack happening for Mixu as he is trying to get some drones with the Mutalisk. Not going to be so successful. And he does get supply blocked as well. Staring down the, well, lurker incoming technology here for Silky. Things are going to be a bit scary for Mixu. The fight he's taking here, he's got to be so careful that he has a better concave over his opponents because of those Hydralisks. They are able to shoot from much further than those Roaches, so
it's just so dangerous to take this fight, especially without a concave. And once again, Mixu caught without a concave. He's just going to try and dive on top, but he's down in upgrades. The Hydralisks, though, they are directly in the front of this. Doesn't matter, though. Their DPS is just trying to shred through the Roaches. And it looks like it might be enough. Silky's taking a supply lead. as the reinforcements coming through. The Hydras are gone, but it's just the roaches left. Will it be enough? Mixu trying to hold on for dear life. It just feels like there's too much, and Silky is going to absolutely crush through it. The Hydras providing enough for him to push it to a victory, and Silky now 1 game away from ending Mixu's knockout bracket hopes.
Ooh. It's a likely event to happen, right? It's one of those things you don't want to see that happen because you believe in the dream, but ultimately it's a potential here. It could be just a matter of time. Well, regardless, he's still alive for the time being. Mixu, can he pull it out? 2 more games here. It is a ZVZ. He did get caught off guard there in the initial part. Even though he did defend it, you know, I thought he defended it well. I thought he got himself in a pretty good position. Didn't get to do much with the circling speed advantage, but it's tough to try and get something done. Unless if you're going to be able to deny a 3rd base, perhaps, right? But yeah. Maybe something like that would have been in the cards, but because circling speed did get entirely skipped, right? If they... Ooh. Other lobby. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, the 3 queens were there, more queens coming in, and then the roaches were very much already in production as well as before the zerglings really arrived. So yeah, just well prepared, well done there by Silky. And just, you know, skipping that zergling speed as well to get yourself set up earlier with those roaches. Just kind of skipping that entire attack tree altogether then, instead of trying to catch up bit by bit. It's a smart play. It's a smart play. And it helped him out very well there.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're heading on to Moon Dance, which is, of course, a much smaller map. So we'll have to see how this ends up affecting these 2 players. Obviously, something like that 12 pool that Silky did on a map like this, it's much more potent because that rush distance is so much shorter. It's a lot harder to have a response in time if you go for a standard opening. So we'll have to see, ladies and gentlemen. Top left-hand corner of Moon Dance, hailing from America, looking to end the knockout bracket dreams of his opponent. He's up 1-0. He's in the red. His name is Silky.
His opponent, the Finnish Zerg. That is the lesser-known Finnish Zerg, but you know, he has made his name known through this knockout bracket so far. Can he keep it going, though? He needs to win 2 games in a row, otherwise his hopes and dreams are gonna fall apart right here. It is Mixu. So another one of those quick pulls here from Silky.
Yeah. This one is a little bit more reasonable. This was a 14 pool, so no 12 pool or anything. It'll be a lot easier for Mixu to respond as long as he goes for the regular 17 pool, or 17 gas, I'd say, but looks like he's going pool first. Just for a little bit of a quicker timing on those lings. Actually, is this gasless? No, there we go. Gas coming down. But yeah, it's, man, I feel like we can't state enough how much of a marathon this knockout bracket is for these players. I mean, you look at it and you look at people who were playing in group stage round 2 and they got eliminated after going down to it. It's just, it is game after game. It is endurance. It is, you know, intense. And so for someone like Mixu, it's been impressive that he's even gotten this far, you know, from that first round. Definitely is a name that people should look out for. Like, yeah, this guy, he's good. He knows what he's doing, and he's made it this far in a tournament that is definitely not easy.
Yeah, exactly. And all the players from around the world are gathering here, of course. All the best ones. Now, you don't have to run into all of them, of course, but, you know, you are going to run into some of them at some point.
Yeah.
It's undeniable. And then the other players there, I mean, they're no slouches either. All players that have played a tremendous amount of StarCraft 2 in their life.
It's an interesting little battle here with the Lings. So far, Mixu getting the better end of it with the Queen popping out as well.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to amount to too much, right? Maybe getting a little bit better of a trade against those Zerglings overall, which is impressive by Silky since, you know, the Queen is there, but... Alright, Okay, and slowly turning it around.
Yeah. Oh, there's some really good trades there by Silky.
Yeah.
You get rid of some of the Zerglings, obviously. When you're going for a 14 pool, it's not really that easy to really turn it into anything. This is a bit different, though. Look at this. Silky, he's not stopping with the aggression. That's a very early layer. Evolution Chamber. I would not be surprised if we see a Roach Warren come down. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be 2 base Roaches, and this is off of and this is against the very quick third hatchery here of Mixu.
All right, really cool to see. Mixu with this quicker third base might be difficult to hold on to that once the Roaches start coming down the chimney. Yeah, if he doesn't have his own Roaches in particular, he's going to have an enormous amount of Zerglings and awareness of this coming, and he's going to have, well, very good engagements also. Okay, so that is his Roach Warren as well. It's his +1 ranged attack. Yeah, I like this approach from Silky in particular on this map, because you do have that third base behind you, right? You're going to be so safe against Zerglings. So difficult to really get them to work out, because you know the biggest threat from Zerglings is usually your third base, right?
Yeah.
Having your third base denied, and the third base still being taken by both these players from the outside. You do have that, well, more mineral patches and another gas geyser potentially, so both opting to just, well, go with the risks, hoping to reap the benefits.
It's definitely, I mean, it's interesting. I thought Silky was going to try and be aggressive off of this, but in the end, it just kind of turned out to be a bit of a safer timing, and he's still getting up his third base. It does mean that Mixu is going to have, I mean, a really big advantage of having this third base mining for longer. So these 9 drones that he's producing, they're not going to be sitting at his natural, oversaturating any of his bases. No, they're going to be directly to that third. They're going to start mining a bit more efficiently, and so you should start to see a bit of an income advantage come through here for Mixu, and yeah, we're starting to see that. I mean, it's not much, but 200 more minerals per minute, it's certainly something. But once again, Silky, he's going for the double upgrades, and this is where we saw that big advantage come through in the last game, when not only are you working with Roach Hydra versus straight up Roach, but you also have the Carapace upgrade. I mean, we just saw how easy it was for Silky to push in and end the game.
Yep, exactly. We can see the income advantage now also starting to kick in, indeed. And even going to be able to pick up the drone or 2. There should be 2. No, it doesn't quite get the second one, but you know, each little bit counts when you're already ahead in a position like this with your drones. You want to really try to make the most of it. And, well, Silky may have just a slightly bigger army supply right now, but that's probably going to change with the better income for Mixu. Unless if Mixu, of course, decides, you know what, let me take a 4th base and let me saturate that as well, which could be ill-advised in these types of situations if you do it too recklessly.
Overseer's getting pushed away. Overlord Vision, very, very important for both these players. And that's actually, is that... Wait a second. 4th hatchery coming down for Silky very, very aggressively.
Ooh.
He's going to be really trying to macro up. I mean, I think the real scary part about that is, of course, the fact that, again, Mixu was working with a better economy for quite a while, still is mining a little bit more. And so, you know, you might just have less units. Looking at the army supply, of course, the players don't know this, but 74 to 58, that's pretty scary to be taking a faster expansion on as well. And Mixu should see this, and he should know that he has a pretty large army. So I would not be surprised if he starts to get active on the map, especially with these 4 Ravagers now popping out. You can start to snipe off those Overlords with your Corrosive Biles. And you can start to look to supply block Silky. And if you supply block Silky, of course, then we're going to start to look at then we might look at this supply lead balloon even more.
Well, both of the players kind of being defensive so far with their Roaches up until this point. Mixu at the 7-minute mark, like you said, is going to be the player here starting to get a bit uppity. Sending over those Ravagers, realizing there's more Overlords here. Overlord speed in the hands of Mixu this time around. So Silky's going to have to be on his toes, keeping those Overlords alive. Nice catch here on the 4th base. May have an opportunity here. There's not that many Roaches for Silky. At least on that side, more on the other side. So Mixu gets himself out of there before he finds himself sandwiched.
I'd still like to see these overlords cleared up here by Mixu. He has the Ravagers available. Starting to look to supply block your opponent, knock down these overlords. Very, very important. Silky, though, on top of it, is going to start to move his away. Coming Claws and Burrow coming through both players. And oh my god, Mixu is just going for it. Silky decides he wants to take the fight as well. They're even on upgrades. It all comes down to the micro, the corrosive vials, as we're starting to see target fire come through. I mean, the supply is staying incredibly even, but it looks like Silky has just taken the better end of this engagement as reinforcements are now coming through for Mixu. Going to try and hold his fourth base, but still down in that roach count just barely. Now going on forward, going to be able to get on top of the rest of the units. The Ravagers are starting to fall. Another corrosive vial managed to make contact. The supplies are still incredibly close, but it's about 10 supply in the lead for Silky. But also almost 20 army supply ahead as more and more reinforcements are coming in for Silky. And he's trying to knock down the fourth.
Yeah, Mixu wisely trying to back up, trying to get as close to his reinforcements as possible and have this still tip back into his favor. But it is starting to get close. Sniping the Overseer, realizing his Burrow and Tunneling Claws is going to finish up soon. Same is going to be said here for Silky. And Silky backs away with all of his roaches before it completes. So he keeps it hidden for a little bit longer. And now he might be able to sneak in a couple of burrowed roaches here before Mixu is aware of the situation. Oh, now he's aware. Just barely in the nick of time. That was fun. Alright, here we go. Another engagement right there. More Ravagers coming forward. Mixu needs to be careful not to be biling his own units. Actually, dangerously low right now. Might get in a lot of trouble. Are there more roaches for Mixu available here? Where are they?
I mean, I just feels like, yeah, he was using them to reinforce, using them to try and deal with these burrowed roaches. So at the front, Silky is just winning the engagement. Silky has more roaches, 34-20. Is continuing to push it down, also has the Ravager count. And I mean, with the space going down, now suddenly, even if you hold here, the income is an advantage for Silky. He's got more workers, he's going to have a better economy back at home, but it just feels like he's winning the fight. And once again, in the Roach Wars, Silky is going to dash the dreams of Mixu to continue to advance through that knockout bracket with the reinforcements coming in. It's so close. The burrowed, I mean, Micro trying to save the HP as much as he can on some of these roaches, get them healed up. Is it enough? I mean, actually, Mixu microing his heart out here might just have enough to hold.
Wow.
Mixu.
Yeah, he still lives, he yet draws breath. He doesn't quite have a full base. He doesn't quite have, well, barely is on the same amount of workers. And he's still lacking behind on army supply, but he lives. He might still be able to make some plays happen here. He does have the Tunneling Claw roaches with him as well. So if he manages to get a couple of units like that across the map on top of a mineral line or two. Oh, but he loses his Roach Warren here with another assault from Silky. As Silky's on top of drones as well on the third base. Nice being handled, however, and well, those roaches were handled as well. But well, a new Roach Warren here is going to be quite the ways off before completing.
Yeah, I mean, it is really dire here for Mixu. He's down 10 workers. He's down in bases. He's down almost half the army supply of his opponent. And Silky's continued to push his advantages. Amazing play so far from the American Zerg. Now looking to try and push it to a win. Half the army caught out, but honestly, half of Silky's army is about as much as the entirety of Mixu's, and so he's just going to take the other half, move it towards the base as he continues to chase down the remnants of Mixu. And it looks like this is going to be it as this game is drawing to a close. Silky, very masterfully done, gets the 2-0. GG is called, and he's going to be moving on.